And I just knew anyway that there's no way she can stop us from leaving the UK just because we don't have an app. Like, it just makes no sense. So hey guys, it's Natalie de Silva. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe, and thank you once again for checking back into my channel. Now, this video is going to cover 5 things you need to know before traveling to Dubai. Now, as most of you know, I recently took a trip to Dubai, so I thought it would be cool just to share some of my tips on what to know before traveling to Dubai, just to save you guys the hassle. Now, before we even get into the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Just click that subscribe button, and also don't forget to follow me on all of my social media platforms. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first thing to know is entry requirements. Now, this may differ if you are not based in the UK, so this rule only applies to UK citizens. Now, current of March 2022, entry requirements to Dubai is that you will need proof of a negative PCR test if you are not vaccinated or partially vaccinated. If you are fully vaccinated, then proof of vaccination. Now, also when I went to the airport, they mentioned that I needed to download a Dubai app. Now, this was very skeptical though, because when we ended up land in Dubai, they didn't require us to download any sort of app. So, and it's very strange. I don't know if that happened with anyone else who's traveled to Dubai, especially during these times. But yeah, they kind of were like making us download this app and put our details on this app, and it was just very strange. And knowing, like with me, like I always double check what I need to know before traveling. So the fact that this Dubai app never came up or didn't come up anywhere, I was a bit, weirded off by that. We did end up downloading it, but it didn't recognize our details. So, we was just like, look, we've got our PCR test, we've got everything you need. So I'm just not sure why we need to download this app. And one of the managers that were there were just like, yeah, it's fine. You can just go through, it's fine. And I think even one of the workers that were working there, she wasn't even 100% sure herself. So it's always just good just to be mindful and just always check, be up to date with all the latest information. It just saves you time and hassle, and I just knew anyway that there's no way she can stop us from leaving the UK just because we don't have an app. Like, it just makes no sense. So yeah, just always be mindful and just always pre-check whenever you are traveling. So the second thing to know is travel insurance. Now, especially with the whole, pandemic thing kind of leering around, it's so important to get travel insurance. A lot of times now, travel insurance also do cover COVID requirements, so it's also very important to check whether it does cover that particular insurance policy. And also, you might be asked this, whether you do have valid travel insurance at the airport. Now, I'm speaking specifically from the UK airport because that's where I left from, and I did ask whether I have travel insurance, which I did. So it's very important to make sure you are covered with travel insurance. So the third thing to know is dress code. Now, as we know, Dubai is one of the main cities in the United Arab Emirates, and as we know, this country is a predominantly Muslim country. However, throughout the recent years, there has been such a huge increase in tourists living and working in Dubai as well. So in my experience, dress code hasn't been as strict. And a lot of tourists tend to kind of just dress as they would in their own country, just from what I saw. And I did travel during Ramadan, however, so I will get to that in a second. But it's not me to kind of dictate what you should wear and things like that. But my advice would be just to be mindful of others, and also to be respectful of others as well. So the next things to know is Ramadan. Now, as most of us do know, Ramadan is a very holy month in the Islamic religion. And obviously I don't want to get too much into detail because I'm not Muslim myself, and I don't want to give any wrong information. But the reason why it was so important is because Dubai is a predominantly Muslim city. So that also meant eating and drinking in public was forbidden during the daylight hours.
One thing I also forgot to mention was that on the Emirates Holidays official website, they say that tourists are not expected to fast. However, eating, drinking and smoking in public is still strictly prohibited, but hotels will offer food and drinks and meals at their bars and restaurants. So if you'd like to know more information about traveling to Dubai during Ramadan, I will leave a link down below in the description box.
My experience when I went there during Ramadan is that it kind of seemed business as normal. You know, restaurants were open, and when we went to the restaurants in the evening, there was music playing and things like that. So it definitely didn't feel any different. The only difference was, you know, it looked very more festive, and because I did do an excursion where I did some camel riding, and a part of the package was, you know, seeing belly dancers. And of course, because they were fasting, and of course it was Ramadan as well, so there wasn't a belly dancer, but they did have a traditional Egyptian dance that they did, and this was a male. So always definitely make sure you're kept up on knowledge in terms of traveling during Ramadan, specifically in Dubai. But in my experience, it kind of seemed as business as normal. There was food and drink served during the daytime and the nighttime. So just be mindful, and of course just be respectful, and be aware of others as well. So the last thing to know before traveling to Dubai is excursions. Now, a lot of times, you know, people may be confused whether they should book excursions when they land in Dubai or whether they should book it before. Now, in my personal opinion and experience, I think it's always a good idea to pre-book your activities. And this is because you can always get discounts, and you can kind of shop around for, you know, really good prices. Whereas when you're in Dubai, you know, prices tend to be fixed, and it's almost like it makes it a little bit harder to kind of do an excursion at a great value of price, because I feel like most of the time when you have excursions booked through the hotel that you're staying at, they tend to have a fixed price as well, and it may be more expensive. So I think it's always a good idea to pre-book your activities, and especially with, you know, the main things that, you know, people would tend to do in Dubai, so like camel riding, quad biking, going to the Burj Khalifa, the fountain show. All of these activities can be booked online, and it just saves time and also money as well. Now, kind of staying on the topic of money, we changed our money when we was at the airport, because I just felt like, you know, prices won't be as, you know, different as it is in the UK pound. So the exchange rate, I guess, wouldn't have been that much anyway. So I changed my money into dirhams, because they use dirhams in Dubai, and also you will be okay with using your card. Now, for me, I used my card that allows me to pay with my card without getting charged. So it's always a good idea just to check your bank card that you're using and see whether you will be charged, whether you are using your card abroad. So in my case, I wasn't, so that was good. So it's always a good idea to check. So that's all the things to know before traveling to Dubai. I hope that's helped you if you're thinking about traveling, or if you know anyone else that's thinking of traveling soon. So that's just my experience, and I hope it's helped you out in any way possible. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to comment, subscribe, and follow all of my social media platforms. Stay connected, and until next time.